So you asked for the data, and here is the data. But I just want to start off this video by saying that on British cycling races, you are not allowed to use a GoPro. However, I've had this okayed because it was a beginner session. But this is going to be the only kind of crit race I'm ever going to be able to film and chat to you about the data. So let me just start off by saying that. So it is good that British Cycling have okayed me to do this video. So I just wanted to be very clear. So this is the start of the race. There are about 30, I think there were 30 women of us taking part. And this is actually the start of the go race that we had. So this track it's the Brownlee Centre in Leeds. So some of you might recognise it. And yeah, we started off going off pretty hard. So you can see from the watts at the left. So let me just kind of start off by saying that. So yeah, we've got cadence at the top, watts at the left, and then the actual course on the right hand side. So you can see where we are. And this particular little bit of section here was so windy. The headwind was insane on this little bit. It was so strong. And yeah, so let's just get into the data then, shall we? So yeah, we can see the watts on the left. So yeah, everyone set off pretty much together, but then there were some kind of sections of breakaways. It was pretty hard going, I think, for the first race, because we had 2 on the day. This is the first one. And I use this one because I feel like it was, I would say that maybe a better race, just because people were going harder. So I felt like this was a better one to use. The second one, we had people chatting in it, and my watts weren't as strong, I wouldn't have said. I don't think anyone's were, because we were going much steadier. So yeah, this is my first ever race. I've got racing the inverted commas, but yeah, as you can see there, we're pushing it around the corners, and this obviously is my first race. I'm not an expert by any means at all of how to actually race and racecraft and stuff like that. I am not. I basically have no idea what I'm doing. But this is kind of why I want to chat to you about it, because I feel like so many people are going to go off the front and just want to be at the front the whole time. And one thing that I got told by a few different people was, don't feel like you have to sit on the front the whole time. And so I didn't. I stayed pretty much in the pack for a fair bit of it. But you can see kind of my watts there. They're hitting at almost 400 because I'm on my own. And then you'll see as soon as I get drafting behind some of the riders, my watts just drop a fair bit. This little section here was a bit of a gradient. I mean, not massively steep at all, but it was a little bit of a gradient. So you did have to push a little bit extra on that section. So yeah. People were strong. They were really strong riders. Look at them. They're all really slim, lean riders. And I was I got there and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so bad at this. Because everyone had really fancy bikes. Well, and in fairness, the bike that I had is my beloved Giant Avail. And and it had my GoPro obviously on the front, and it also had my Audax light. So if I'm ever going to continue racing, which I am going to do, I probably need to either take those off or use a different bike, or I don't know. I shouldn't be using one with my Audax light on the front though, so that will not be used. And I also someone else asked actually if I used my 40 cassette. Yes, I did have the 40 cassette. I had my compact on the front and a 40 on the back, which is probably the worst kind of gearing you could use. I would say gear ratio gearing that you would have for a crit, because you're definitely not going to need a 40. You don't even need a compact at the front. So literally I was just in the big ring for all of it. So yeah, you can see everyone's bunching up. I don't think it was as aggressive as people thought. I think that was the whole point of having a session like this, is so that people weren't put off and that they could go and try it out and see what it was like, which is one of the reasons why I went, because I've been interested in crit racing and I just didn't have the balls to go and actually ride a proper one, so this was ideal. So as you can see, yeah, they're pushing 300 watts. It was pretty tasty to say this is the first 5 minutes. I think total it was 8 laps, I think. So yeah, And also, it was really helpful to have like the coaching session beforehand, so we got really used to the actual course and turning and how sharp the bends were. And in this case, they weren't sharp at all. And I think that's one of the reasons, because I did actually win this race. I think it was because that's kind of the style of riding that I'm used to. Whereas I think if it was really technical, I think I'd be shocking at it, to be honest. So on these sections where it's flatter, I do try and push a few more. I've just said that and the watts have gone down, but generally on these sections I did try and push a little bit harder than on the turns, just because you can do that. I think the actual watts are a little bit out, as in like timing wise, like only like a couple of seconds, but this is as close as I could get it, so I hope you're okay with that. So if you look, my cadence is like almost like 100, 80 to 100. Normally, I try and keep my cadence. I don't even know, to be honest. I have it on of one of my like metrics on my Garmin, but I don't always look at it. But I try and at least 80. I definitely want my cadence at least 80. I'd say around 90 is what I would generally aim for. But I think on some of this, I'm just spinning out too much. I've not got the gears to be able to push it any better, to be honest. So yeah, just a nice little bit of group riding, and we all did like pretty well. So this was all of our first race. I think we did a pretty good job. Yeah, so I guess throughout this I kind of assumed that for that 20 minutes it'd be like a flat out effort, and it wasn't. It's much more like, maybe that's a ridiculous thing to say, but I just thought it would be like a flat out 20-minute effort. But I guess it's kind of learning to read the race and other riders, because the only tactic that I had was to not be dropped. Like that was it. I was like, I'm not going to get dropped. So they were like, here you can see now a couple of people are breaking away, and I was like, well, I need to keep with them. Whereas when everyone was in like a massive group, I would just stay with the group just to conserve a bit of energy. Whereas when people are breaking away, I'm like, right, then I don't want them to get too far ahead that I can't then catch them up. So like on this section, I'm actually just freewheeling a little bit now, but I'm making sure that I'm sticking with the front riders, because like I said, I don't want them to get too far ahead that I can't. Look how nice their bikes are. I think the girl on the left, actually, she's a triathlete. I don't know about the girl in front, but yeah, they were strong riders. Actually, the girl on the left in the pink, she won I think it was that girl. Yeah, she won the second race. So anyway, let me get back to this race. What else is there to say? Yeah, just steady around the corners. And yeah, on these flat sections, I am pushing it a little bit. But I really am enjoying. Even watching it back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to go out and ride again. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely, just so much fun. I didn't think I would, because someone actually commented on my last video saying, you know, I'm really disappointed. Where are the views? And I'm like, yes, I know, I'm all about the views. But this was more just about like the game aspect of it and the fun aspect of like a different type of fun type of riding. We should have really enjoyed. How many laps left? 5 left. So yeah, I think it's 8 total. Like she was really strong in front. So, and that's Amy, the very, very front. She was one of the girls that organised it, and yeah, she's really strong. Well, she did loads of hill climbs this year. Like, this is her first season. She did loads of hill climbs. So yeah, she's a really good rider as well. But yeah, now you can see I'm like, oh, actually she's getting pretty far away, so I better go and try and catch her up. So yeah, you'll see that now that I do. I'm like, nah, she ain't getting away. So it's like, I better put a bit of power out. So yeah, about, almost 350 watts. What is over 350? And I think that's the beauty of having a power meter, is because I don't know how many of these riders here had power meters, but I know what I can hold. And so, like, I know that if I needed to, I could push out a good 5 minutes, like at the end if I needed to, which is actually what I ended up doing. I just went ahead, but I guess you've seen it on the other video, but you'll see it better on this video. So this is what I was saying. So these breakaways, all I had in my head was, do not let them get that far ahead that I'm not going to be able to catch them up. So I just pushed it now. This is when you get into the headwind. I was like, I need to push it to catch them up so I'm not in the whole of the headwind, because I'm better off putting out the power here to save energy when it's really strong headwind than just going into the headwind on my own. So I'm trying to catch her up so I can kind of draft behind her a little bit. But I love all this like tactic thing of it, of like working out what's the best way around it and what to do. So you see now, I think I just slow down. So I'm like, I've caught them. What's the point in trying to go past with 5 laps to go? All I need to do is make sure that I'm with the front riders so that I can push out in the last 5 minutes and just go past them and win. And it's not about winning at all. I'm just talking like I actually realise what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I really don't. This was just my first go at it, and I just want to kind of share my thought process and what I was thinking as I was riding. See, we're all on giant bikes there, although theirs are much fancier giant bikes than mine. And then I did get a little more confident as in riding in the corners. Well, I just thought I'd be freewheeling around the corners, but that one wasn't a tight corner. I need to get used to doing that, actually, because that is not my strong point. I just like hills straight and then just putting out a load of power. Whereas trying to be more technical, that is definitely something that I'm going to have to try and get a little bit better at, I think. And sprints, my sprints are not good. Well, you saw yesterday, my sprint is terrible. So yeah, 4 laps to go. I think that girl in front, actually, I can't think of her name. I think she had an issue with a bike, and one of the mechanics there sorted it out for her. So I mean, I don't know why I've just told you that. Just giving you a rounded account of the day. And that was another thing. Like, I loved having a number on me. I don't know why that made me feel like I wanted to go faster. Like, isn't that ridiculous? But I love that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I've got a number on. That means I'm professional. Even though there were no points for this race at all, like I was saying before, this was not a pointed race. It wasn't like an official race. It was, I think they're called Go Race. So it's just like a taster race. But yeah. So yeah, I'm not letting them get away. I'm like, no, you are not getting away. Such a nice course though. It was like really smooth. Like, it was really good weather as well, apart from the headwind. But you just kind of get to know where it's going to come up and just basically try and draft and not take it all on your own. So I'll probably do the same thing on this bit again, like trying to catch him up so that I'm not on my own in the headwind. But do you like these date videos? Because I actually really like watching them. This is just going to be a long video, so I hope you sat with a cup of tea just to be able to watch it all. Or maybe you're just going to switch off now. But don't, it gets more exciting towards the end. So yeah, so like I say, on that windy bit, I'm just getting up to them just to make sure that I can draft, just to save a bit of my own energy. And the thing is, they can move around. I guess it's just learning like that tactic of what to do. And I was just like, I just want to try and save a bit of energy. Like, even there, like, look, it's like doing 40 watts. 150, 160, 200. And in fairness, like, look at this woman on the left. Honestly, there was some absolutely such determined women there. Even though we've just kind of come round and done an extra lap, they were just going at it anyway. They were like, do you know what, we're going to carry on. I love that, like, determination. And that's exactly where I was like 3 or 4 years ago. Well, actually, nowhere near that, actually. They're much stronger than I was then. Because I know what it felt like to be at the back of most rides, especially when I went to Thailand. I was always the one at the back. And so I've just kind of just stuck at it, I guess, and thought I will keep working my ass off, riding and pushing, so that I'm not always at the back. And everyone goes through that, I think. I guess that's why it's nice to share this journey, because then now you see that I am able to push like okay watts, and that is only going to improve because I got a good winter training plan ahead of me. So yeah, my like 103 cadence, that's too much. I personally think that's too much, but I just didn't have the gears to be able to lower that because I was just, yeah. I think it's an 1140, so I probably need smaller if I do any more racing, which I am wanting to do. Which bike? What bike shall I get? What gearing shall I get? If you know anything about like quick, I don't know whether I want like fixie. I don't know. Is it fixie or single speed? I always get confused which one's which. See, I'm such a beginner at this. So yeah, this lady was so strong, and especially on these little sections. But again, my plan was just don't let them get away. I wasn't really looking at my power as much on these sections because I just knew I had to keep up regardless, so it was fine. And to be honest, I don't feel like this was as hard as doing a 20-minute FTP effort, because it was kind of like, look at that, fluctuating. Like sometimes you had like a little bit of a rest, sometimes you were pushing it quite hard, which I guess is what crit racing is all about. Okay, and then now you'll see me just like fly off because I'm like, nope, I just need to stay with the front riders. So off I go, shielding from the wind. Actually, I'm not there. Taking that wind, letting some people have a bit of a draft off me as well. So equally that, see, this is the thing. I'd never wanted just to be right at the front the whole time, as in like off the front of the group. Because what's the point? I still need to hold that for another 3 laps. There's no point. As long as you're gonna be able to push that power past the front rider in the last 5 minutes or whatever, which is what my strength is. I'm not a sprinter, so I would never leave it to the last like 10, 20, 30 seconds. I'm always going to push off way earlier because that is where my strength's at. Is doing like sustained periods of power over like 10, 20 minutes. I do like watching this back. Is this just really narcissistic? But I just really just enjoy watching it back. In fact, a lot of you wanted me to show you these watts in this footage, so it is very special because I'm not going to be able to do this again on a crit. This is just a one-off, one time only, because British Cycling did okay it. So thanks very much, British Cycling. I don't know why that is actually, because I know in Australia and America you can film them. I think it's just because they don't want people like potentially crashing because they try to get shots on GoPros. I guess that's why. I mean, I'm not thinking about any shots apart from I just don't want any other rider in front of me when I cross the finish line. I guess it did bring out the competitive like side of me. I was like, I really want to win this. And it's good because it's just like pushing yourself, isn't it? There was no like nastiness. It was all like in good fun, which this is why these rides are just so like, especially this one, this Ride Like a Girl race series is just so much fun. So here, like you can see that I'm pushing, but I'm going up towards the front. I don't want to be right on the front on my own, so I'll just kind of slow it down in a minute, I think. See, I'm just bringing it back. I'm like, no, don't get too ahead of yourself. Just slow it down. Or maybe here I can see them at the side of me, so maybe that's why. Or I'm just taking a turn at the front. I can't really remember. Yeah, that's why, because there's a lady at the side of me. And so on this race in particular, like there were breakaways throughout the whole time. So you can see this lady and then the other woman, they just kept taking it. They kept going to the front on their own. Like they were almost like racing it out. And I was just kind of, I guess, more sat behind them, just waiting it out. Because at this point, like I wasn't flat out. I felt pretty strong still. I was like, I could go for another half an hour. Which is why I was just saving my energy. I was just like, this is fine. I mean, I'm sure it won't be like that on other races. I'm sure I'll be like hanging out my arse. But on this particular one, I didn't feel too bad. I felt okay. How nice that bike is. That's a Canyon bike. I think is that an Enduro race or an Ultimate? The lady the woman in the Castelli on the left. It's a nice bike. Another giant live bike on the right. Who's that just come past? I don't know. So there you go, you see. So the woman in the blue had a turn at the front. She was like wanting it. And then this girl, I say girl, I mean woman, sat on the front again. She was strong. She was a strong rider. How many laps we got left? Maybe 2? It's going to get exciting soon. Well, I think it is anyway. And it might look like we're really close, but it never felt like too close that we were going to crash or anything like that. So don't worry, I think it's just the GoPro how it films. See, Aim is there on the right again. And I almost feel like just come in a little bit, like, or just don't take a turn on the front, but I guess everyone has to have a turn on the front at some point. Oh, actually, maybe is this like 1.5 laps to go? Maybe it is. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think this is maybe the point where I was like, right, I'm going for it. I think I had, just over a lap to go. So I was like, right, I can do a lap on my own. Let me have a look now. I think that was because I really did push the watts. I was like, right, I'm going for it. Let's have a look. It'll say on the right in a sec how many laps there are to go. Is there? Yeah, 1 lap to go. So at that point, I was like, I can do over a lap at that power. So this is just me thrashing it, thrashing it for a lap. I think the lap stuck around, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes. Just over 3 minutes, I think. So I was like, right, I know the power that I can do for a good 3 to 4 minutes. So I'm just going to just go for it early and risk it that they can't keep that power for that long. And I didn't really look back either. I just kind of kept my head down and just pushed as much as I could push. Whereas I feel like the second one, I kept looking behind me and I shouldn't have done. I feel like I should have just put my head down and just gone as hard as I could go. Whereas I feel like with this one, I did put more into it, I think. Because it felt more, I don't know, I feel like the second race that we did, it felt much more like we were just in one group. Whereas this, we did break off. So these are the people that I think maybe we're a lap ahead, maybe. Well, I am, because I'm out at the front. Everyone did so well on this race. I loved it. So yeah, so now I'm just thinking, oh, the headwind. I've got to fully take it on my own and just buckle down and just push out some watts. So leaving it off on the corner a little bit, and then now I'll just push the watts up. But again, I wasn't really looking at watts at this point. I was like, just go as hard as you can. I know I can push this for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes or whatever. Just going as hard as I could possibly, well, not as hard as I could go, pretty much as hard as I could go. Yeah, look at my cadence. I think that's too much. But you tell me, like, if you are an expert at this, tell me, is 100 cadence too much for a ride like this? I think it is, because it's so flat. It's maybe a little bit excessive. So I'm like, I just remember thinking at this point, come on, Kate, you've almost got it in the bag, come on. And then this next little turn in a sec is like pretty downhill and flat, so my watts do drop. So this is my problem. I've struggled to keep my watts up on the flat, whereas if it's on a hill or a climb, I'm pretty much, I can do it, but that's something that I need to work on. Equally as sprinting. So this is the last bit. This is it. This is the last few 100 meters. So yeah, I am putting the power down. So I'm like, I really want to win this now. I can see the end. It's almost there. And then I get there, and I'm like, is that it? Is that it? Have I won? And they were just like, yes, that's it. That's it. You can stop. So obviously, the power drops. So I really hope you enjoyed watching that, looking at the watts, looking at the power, looking at the cadence. I absolutely loved riding that. I think it was so much fun, and I really like that kind of friendly competitive edge of it as well, because I've never really done that before. I've done like a couple of races on Zwift, but not really like that. And so yeah, I really did enjoy it. I'm definitely going to be doing more, but obviously I can't be filming them. So obviously I can film them from like the sides and stuff, but I won't be able to film it like I filmed this. So I hope that is enough to keep you satisfied for I can do power on climbs. If you want me to do some like hill climbing stuff with power data, then let me know. I will definitely do some of those. And maybe I could do next time I do an FTP, maybe do that. So I think that is pretty much it for this video. I felt pretty excited by then, pretty amazing. And yeah, I think that is it for this video. So I hope you've enjoyed that 23-minute video. It has been a long one. So if you're still there and listening, thank you so much, and I'll see you next video.